Good Tuesday morning, Kentuckiana. Welcome to your 8 o'clock hour. I am Brooke Hash, and a very soggy morning at that. And with all the rain, we've also looking at some traffic delays for you. So we have both our Matts in house talking everything weather and traffic. First off, meteorologist Matt Breland, and the next few days worth of rain ahead, Matt.
That's right, Brooke. Yeah, we are in a dreary pattern. It all begins today. We already saw our fair share of a wet start for this morning, and we are getting ready for a bit of a loud afternoon. There's thunderstorms headed our direction that will be arriving just as we go later on into the morning time and lasting through the afternoon. This wet weather pattern we saw earlier this morning has now advanced its way farther off towards the east. A few of you near Newcastle, Frankfort, Bardstown, still seeing that wet start, but now for you guys just towards the west of I-65, starting to just see more of the clouds rolling in. But I do want to mention there is a cluster of thunderstorms developing just towards southern Illinois, and this is going to arrive into Kentucky as we head into the next upcoming hours. I would say the arrival with this is looking to be just as we get ready for that 11 a.m. time. Right now, temperatures are ranging into those lower 40s, so a bit of a chilly start for us as we go throughout the next upcoming hours. Closer towards 10 a.m. is whenever we'll start seeing that cluster of thunderstorms develop across Kentuckiana. It will bring with it some thunderstorms and also some gusty winds and heavy rain showers that will be lasting into those first hours of the afternoon. We'll see that activity make its way farther to the east, but just as we go into the later evening hours, I'm expecting another round of organized thunderstorms to start passing through Kentuckiana to bring in some brief periods of some heavy downpours, and also those lingering clouds will be sticking around through the overnight hours. Wednesday trending a bit drier, but definitely a foggy start and a cloudy pattern that is in store for us. Here's a look at your school bus forecast. Hopping on the school bus, those temperatures staying in the upper 40s, rain showers continuing all throughout the day with highs into the mid 50s. That's a look at your bus stop forecast. Here's Matthew with traffic.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. We are tracking several issues out on those roadways for this morning overall. And look at the Gene Snyder. You can tell we got some slowdowns over there. Definitely a parking lot as well. But the issue we are tracking also looking at I-65 northbound, likely backed up for about 6 to 7 miles. Also, that crash is on I-65, likely causing those issues. So it's the right-hand shoulder blocked due to that crash near Jacob Street. So still some slow traffic. Looks like they've been able to clear that at least a little bit. I still see those police lights out there, but those morning drive times definitely going to take you a while. Shepherdsville to the junction is going to take you 35 minutes, even from Gene Snyder, I-64 to downtown, 28 minutes this morning. I-71 to the Gene Snyder to the junction, 13 minutes. Also, we're tracking another crash along I-64 for this morning that was blocking the left-hand shoulder lane. That's near Hurstbourne Parkway. And another crash also we're tracking along the Waterson for this morning. This is looks like this is at exit 16 at Bardstown Road for this morning. So several issues out there for you this morning. So just take your time, be careful out there. You can tell that crash. It looked like we had 4 vehicles involved with that crash just along the Waterson at Bardstown Road this morning. Give you a look at those roadways. Yeah, it's a slow one. Take your time out there and be safe with those wet roadways this morning. We'll send it back over to you, Brooke.
Matthew, thank you. Happening today, more construction at Spaghetti Junction. In the next hour, the I-65 South ramp onto 64 West at the Kennedy Bridge will close until December 15th. KYTC said this is all part of that expansion joint replacement project that's been happening on the Kennedy. And once that closure is finished, crews will transition to the next phase, which includes lane closures along 65. Shively police said one of their officers was hit by a car this morning. It happened just before 3:30. A Shively police officer hit while outside of their car, helping with a tow at the intersection of Dixie Highway and Miller's Lane. We're told the officer was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We're told the driver stayed at the scene and no charges are expected. Well, the clock is ticking for JCPS to solve its $132 million deficit crisis. The district wanted to avoid job cuts, but those now appear to be on the horizon. We learned that could include positions eliminated within central office. At a meeting, school board members said they could also consider raising money through utility taxes, property taxes, or a nickel tax, which is a type of property tax. The JCPS Revenue Task Force will ultimately make that recommendation to the board, but said they cannot make a sound decision until the $132 million cuts for next year's budget are made public. Superintendent Yearwood said they'll hit 3 primary targets: reducing and restructuring contracts, minimizing positions in central office, and closing or consolidating schools.
a clear and transparent rationale for every major reduction, and it will also serve to prevent future imbalance because we are redesigning our systems to strengthen fiscal discipline.
Now, that proposed budget will be given to the board in January. Once it's made public, the task force has until May to recommend a tax increase to the school board. And happening today, JCPS set to decide if some kids in the district will have to go to a different school due to overcrowding. The district wants to change boundary lines for Echo Trail Middle School, which is at 114% capacity in far eastern Jefferson County. Some students could be reassigned to Crosby Middle in Middletown instead. Board member James Craig said a productive conversations needed.
Historically, these have happened on consent. We're pulling it down because there's been more focus on it here lately, and we just want to have a healthier discussion about it to let folks know that we have considered all possible angles.
Another board member said while rezoning is not easy, it is the cheapest option. The JCPS board meets tonight at 6 o'clock at the Van Hoos Education Center. A search and rescue disrupted by lasers and gunfire over in Maeslick out in eastern Kentucky. A Kentucky State Police helicopter was flying during the search for a missing 11-year-old on November 3rd. The pilot and flight officer were hit by a series of laser beams, with the flight officer sustaining possible injuries to his eyes. Police said 2 people on the ground, Jason McKee and Donald W. Boone, pointed a laser and shot a gun toward that helicopter. Both were arrested and taken to the Mason County Detention Center. The FBI now working on the case, and there is potential for more charges. 7 years after a deadly robbery, a man is now facing charges for the crime. A Jefferson County grand jury indicted 38-year-old Stephen Shane Williams with charges of murder and robbery. The shooting happened in the Parkland neighborhood off West Kentucky Street in December of 2018. Williams is in LMDC custody on charges unrelated to this investigation. Metro Police and the Metro Council cracking down on problematic ATVs and other vehicles that are not street legal. Right now, Councilwoman Crystal Best is pushing for a new ordinance to make it easier for police to enforce that law. It would give LMPD the ability to use resources like drones and to conduct blitz operations to keep those vehicles off of the main roadways. Councilman Jonathan Joseph shared these photos of ATVs on main roads and in parks with us. He's backing the proposed ordinance and says it's a matter of common sense and safety.
And so you can't convince me that if a car were to, God forbid, hit a four-wheeler or a dirt bike, that it's going to be that there's a huge safety issue there.
Joseph hopes the ordinance is passed before the spring, when he expects more people out on those ATVs. Happening today, the president of UPS Airlines will be here in Louisville to take questions from the media about that crash that shook our community 2 weeks ago today. So far, the company has only issued statements through social media posts and video messages. UPS Airlines President Bill Moore will join Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg at his weekly news conference. The main topic will be an update on the UPS plane crash. We do expect Louisville Metro Emergency Services Executive Director Jody Myman, the MSD's Director Tony Parrott, and Liz Pratt from LG&E to also be there. Coverage from the news conference will be right here on WHAS 11 News, as well as online, WHAS11.com. It is expected to start at 11:30. Well, this week, the Louisville Orchestra is holding a free tribute concert to honor the lives lost in that Flight 2976 tragedy. The concert is this Thursday night at the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts. Doors open at 6. Music begins at 7. The concert is free and open to the public, but you do need to register for a ticket. The city's providing free parking in the Park Riverfront parking garage on North 6th Street.